Life, it's simple, yet it's so hard. It's about dreaming so big and so far that it seems impossible to everyone. I kind of born up and brought up in a very small village in Haryana, studying in Hindi medium school. And I used to learn tables like do ekam do duni char, sitting under a tree. And we didn't even have TV till I was 14 or 15 years of age. And just to watch Shaktiman, I used to run 2 kilometers. But I was a curious kid. I used to play with electronics, electric wires, whatever I got my hands on. Um, I built my first circuit when I was in 7th or 8th class. I bought a small electromagnet from a kabadi in 30 rupees. And I built an inverter, small inverter with 6-volt battery, which automatically switches on the light when then there is no electricity in that time. And there was no school I was studying in who was teaching me all this. It's just the curiosity. Everyone has a force. All these dreams, all these ambitions, they are fruits of love, emotion, sacrifices, and feelings and emotions. These all dreams and ambitions are fruits of the people who love you. Right? For me, my dreams came from seeing my father working in village, in the farms 20 hours a day, in like really cold water, like in really winter, when you had to stand in the cold water for like 4 hours and 5 hours just to drip the water to the village, the fields. My mom has serious like problems in her legs, and she used to work in so much pain that anyone would have given up. They don't understand what I do, not even a single bit of it. They just say me, imandari se and samajhdari se. And there was this small plate which school used to give, steel plate. And I won that first steel plate of mine, and I ran 4 to 5 kilometers to the field just to show that to my dad. So I wanted to do the IIT just like every student who wanted to do the engineering, but I failed, and I failed miserably. I knew from that day, and on that when the result came of the IIT, I cried so much that I literally fainted. I was giving exam and I knew that I just blew it away, and I was sitting in a park right outside the that school I was giving exam in, and I cried so much that I fainted, and I woke up after 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and then I went back to the home. So there's one thing I'm scared of, letting people down. And I knew that day that I let my parents down, their hopes. But then I got into the college, but I didn't give up on those dreams, and I knew I had to do something different. It's not gonna be just studies. It's never gonna be just studies which will get me that point. I organized electronic workshops. So I was in first year, and then I kind of like made my profile like I'm a passed out guy, and I used to go to different colleges and give electronic workshops, and I was just first year student. I calculated I needed somewhere around 16,000 rupees to start my company, to register it and do all the process, and I didn't want to ask my parents for that. My parents used to give me 3,000 rupees, almost 3,000 rupees per month. And so just to save some money, I switched to a room which was 5 feet by 8 feet. Actually, it was 5 feet by 8 feet. So there was only place for a charpai there. Either you can lie down or you can just sit on that. So that was the place. And this was the process by which I used to save around 400 rupees. The second thing I did is that I was good at physics. I mean, I failed IIT, but I was still good. So I started doing tuitions, and I started teaching the neighborhood kids about the physics and all those. I started giving tuitions. And then third thing I did is that I sold health insurances. I know about every single health insurance out there even now. It's been a long while, but I used to sell health insurances. And the fourth thing I mentioned is that I started going out to different colleges in Jaipur, Mandsaur, and I started doing electronic workshops. So just to get those 16,000 rupees, I did these four different things. I not just ended up getting those 16,000 rupees, I ended up earning 12 to 13,000 rupees a month. And I didn't just register my company. I gave the first salary of mine when I was a 20-year-old of 12,000 rupees to my parents. And to a kid from really good background, and now this whole thing, this doesn't seem much. But for a student, for a kid who just came out of the small village, and who just received so many bad feedbacks, comments on his language, on his dressing sense, and people, the cool guys and girls, just used to kick me out of the group. I mean, they literally said that, just dude, just walk away, and it was a lot. That was a lot to me at that time, and it was all hard work and sweat. I registered the company, but I was no CEO or no director. I wasn't. I was not even having legal documents to do that. I was not having PAN card. I didn't have the voter card. I had no document. So I made my parents director, and even today they are the director, although they know very little of it, that what exactly are the position they hold. But that was the exact time I started doing coding, because I needed money to build the company website, and I started doing coding, and I learned the designing and the coding on my own. And that's how it all started. I had very little knowledge of computers even at that time. I knew a little bit of building websites, but then I joined this company, and then this mentor of mine, he's a really good mentor now, he saw something in me. I don't know what he saw, but he saw something in me with no background of computers. I had the electronics, in the BTech. He saw something in me, and then he gave me a chance for a month. He said that, look, I'm giving you a chance for a month, and then prove me what you are. And they wanted to kind of hire me for the front end position, for the designing of the pages and all. Not just that, in 1 month I ended up learning design, front end, back end, and every piece of technology that you used to use in that particular company. I ended up learning all that. And that's how it all started. After that, I participated in a hackathon, which was organized by Peer Hack. And I won that particular hackathon. So hackathons have been a really integral part of my journey after that. They just push you to do so many things in just 40 straight hours of coding, which you cannot imagine. You just have to push yourself and show what you are. So after that first hackathon, I participated in 13 hackathons till date, and I have won 11 of them. And I think thank you. People always say that do one thing and just do one thing, focus on that. And I have been focusing, but I have been focusing on too many things. I'm a designer, I'm a developer, I'm a web architect. I do sketching as well. And I used to write poems, and then I do everything. I organize events, and I do every single thing I can. I believe in the theory that be all you can be. You don't have to limit yourself. You don't have to restrict yourself in terms of your thoughts. You can be more successful just by doing one thing, but you won't be able to explore yourself. You won't be able to really figure out who you are if you are not going to do everything you can. You don't have to make a career out of everything you do, but try as many things as possible. There are two things I learned in my life, and I think I can suggest you. One is that don't learn something. If you ask me what is that one thing you have learned in your life, then I would say I have learned how to learn really fast. I have learned that art. I'm not a computer genius. I have won many hackathons, I build really great products, but I'm not a computer genius even today. I don't know a lot of things, but I know how to make things work. I can learn anything really quickly, and that's the most of the time I have spent my time in learning that skill, that how exactly you can learn so fast. And then second is that never quit, never say never. I don't have that word in my dictionary. I've been running company for like 5 years, one man army, and I've been profitable from last 5 years, and I've failed more than I can count. But it's about never giving up, and it's learning fast and iterating. Now these dreams, I have a lot of them. I want to build, I don't know, this thing, that thing, and a lot of things. But there is a cost. Most of the time I feel like I'm missing out. I'm not moving fast enough. I haven't achieved enough. The way I feel is that I don't look back. I don't measure what I have achieved. I always measure myself I always judge myself as that what exactly else is out there which I have to achieve. And it always keeps you on the toes, but there is a dark side, that you are always angry in your bones, that you're not moving fast enough. It's always there. I can say that I'm not happy most of the time. Maybe 80% of the time I'm not happy. I'm just fighting with the things. I'm struggling. Then you would ask why you are doing that. Then I'll tell you exactly why I'm doing all this. Why I'm always angry in my bones and I'm still fighting. So when I go home, So when I failed IIT and when I went home, and then every single guy in the village used to make a comment to my father or my dad that he didn't do this, he failed at this, and he failed at that. And now when I go back home after a month of struggle or 2 months of struggle, they tell me stories, small stories, not really big things, small stories. That like one I would like to share is that when I go home now and then they tell me that we don't tell your salary or your income to anyone because no one in the village would believe that. And they always say to your face, no, you are just lying. And that one moment, all those 2 months struggle, 3 months struggle, a year struggle, 5 years struggle, I always leave 100 years in that particular moment. When I see that honor, that pride, when I see that, yes, I'm the guru of my dad and my mom, I live like 100 years in that moment. So when I say I'm an entrepreneur, I'm struggling, I'm fighting for everything, and I'm not happy most of my time I'm not happy, and I'm just doing stuff. But that moment, that's what I'm fighting for, and that's worth living. So you have to give up a lot, way more than you can achieve ever, but you have to make sure that's worth it. And that's what I'm doing. So dream with your arms wide open, with your eyes wide open, and because that's the only thing that matters. Thank you.